Family, school is in session.
And teachers are talking. Join us
as we love to entertain, enlighten, and inform you of the exciting things
that make teachers talk.
Let's have a conversation
about teaching practices and loving those pumpkins.
That sounds good. We can talk about anything.
And don't forget,
we encourage you to listen
when a teacher talks.
That's right, Michelle. We still encourage people to listen when a teacher talks. It's virtually, though. When a teacher talks virtually, we encourage you to listen. That's right. How are you today, Michelle? It's June the 9th. I had to look. And it's a Tuesday.
I'm good. I'm good. Just wrapping up. One more week after this for the students. So.
Yes, we have one more week for our stint as host of Teacher Talk. We just want to announce it. Are we going to announce it today?
You started it.
We want to announce today that Michelle and I are coming to the end of our time as co-host for Teacher Talk Live or Teacher Talk Radio. It has been an awesome ride. I know for me, Michelle, it has been an awesome ride. I think it's about close to 10 years I have been a Teacher Talk co-host. So it is an awesome ride. I'm enjoying it. I have enjoyed it. And, you know, there are times you have to go to grow, you know, move to, I was going to say snooze, but that wouldn't work. Sometimes you have to move so that others can come in and take it to another level. We have always wanted it to go live with an audience. I think this is a step closer to that. So the next host could take it to an audience.
Right, make it clear. We're going to make it clear that next Tuesday, that's going to be our last show. Because some people might make a mistake and think that this Tuesday is going to be our last show.
Yes, so next week, Tuesday, will be our last show. And, you know, I even forgot to say good evening. Welcome to Teach Talk. We want to thank the Bermuda Union of Teachers, founded in 1919 by Reverend Rufus Stovall, Adele Tucker, Ms. Edith Crawford, and Matilda Crawford for sponsoring this hour.
In which we love to entertain, enlighten, and inform you of all the things that make teachers talk.
That's right. We are on Facebook Live. That's right. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 p.m. You can also catch us after that, because the beauty of Facebook, you can watch it whenever. That's right. I have my shirt on today, Michelle. My union.
Oh, I see it.
Yes, the union shirts. I'm going to move the background. As you all know, this is Teacher Talk. I'm going to remove the background because sometimes it's just my hair. And that's kind of a little scary. I think it's the black. So the black is not good for when you have this white background. And I nearly clicked the off. I nearly clicked the button that will take us off of Facebook. So I'm going to get my buttons correct. Yeah, so Michelle, great show tonight. We have from Just Dreams Event Planning and Decor down in St. George's. We have Cyniqua Anderson. We're going to have a conversation with her about being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur and, you know, some of the things she may have gone through getting there. And, you know, because as a business teacher, Michelle, I'm excited that when I see young people starting their own businesses. And it was, I said, as we leave Teacher Talk, it would be nice to showcase some young Bermudian businesses. And, you know, as we put this out on Facebook, we put it out on YouTube, the business teachers in the middle school are also looking to interview business owners, entrepreneurs. So I'll continue this, but not on a live setting, Michelle, and record them so that we can show our young people in the middle school all about starting their own business, they too can be business owners in this time. So I won't be on live, but I will be having conversations with different business owners, with the business studies teachers, so that we can share the passion of an entrepreneur and encourage them to start their own businesses. So I'm excited. I'm excited. So let me pop off this screen, Michelle, so we can just have our pictures up. And look, we have the gallery view. So Cyniqua, welcome to Teacher Talk Live.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. So as I was saying, we wanted to interview some young Bermudians who are business owners and go through that process of what you're thinking. Was it something you always wanted to do? So just to give you this platform, and as I mentioned, we will be taking this to our business studies students to encourage them to look at entrepreneurship. So go ahead, just dreams. Sometimes we just dream.
But I always just dream, I guess. But it's funny. So the story of how Just Dreams started is kind of funny. My whole career is kind of different. I actually I went to Cedar Bridge, obviously. I have a degree from Johnson & Wales University in software engineering. I know it's way 1,000 miles off from what I do now, but I actually got my start in software engineering from Cedar Bridge. So I spent I've always been artistic, always been a creative, always wanted to be artsy. And I had a interest in computers as well. So graphic design was kind of my first love. That was the first thing that I wanted to do. But going to school, it was about you choose the things that makes you the most money. And that's how I ended up in software engineering. But I still always had this love for art. So I spent about 7 years as a software developer at Orbis Investments. And kind of midway through that, I picked up this interest for event planning. I used to do things for my friends all the time. When I had children, I started doing stuff for my kids all the time. And I was the friend that had parties and planned parties and decorated parties. When my kids came, it was always some over the top birthday party. Like, Cyniqua, why are you doing all that? It's just the first birthday party. We don't need all of this. Why are you doing that? I love to do it. So I did it. And from there, me doing it for my friends, people started to ask me to do it for them and their kids. From there, I started charging to do it. Because it was getting costly. It was becoming a lot of work. It was taking up a lot of my time. So I started to charge to do it. And about 2017, that's when Just Dreams was born. It was officially a name. And I started doing small things like baby showers and birthday parties. Initially, I worked by myself for a lot of events, but my auntie, Francine Trott, who has been doing weddings and parties all of my life, she's always had an interest. She's like my other mama. And she has that gift. And I think a lot of the gift I get from her, but she began to work with me maybe like 5 or 6 months into Just Dreams. So she's basically just like my right-hand man for the business. So yeah, 2017 we started. And I did it basically on the side of my full-time jobs. Last year, 2019 in July, 2019 in general, I started to do weddings. I started to do bigger events, corporate events, not just my friends and family stuff. It kind of got serious. Maybe around 2018, it got serious, I guess I would say. And 2019, I got to the point where I was turning down jobs because I was turning down jobs for Just Dreams because I had a full-time job. And it's like, I had to think about it. It's like, what was my end goal? Was me as in IT, as a software developer, my end goal, or was Just Dreams where I wanted to be? And Just Dreams was what made me happy. And because I was I was having to turn down events because I still had my full-time job that I actually hated to go to, I decided that I was gonna go all the way and leave my job. So in July 2019, I left my job I was the assistant manager of data management at HSBC. So I left there to pursue Just Dreams full time. And so I guess it would be a year next month that I have been full time with Just Dreams. I have no regrets. I absolutely love what I do every day. I get up every day excited to go to work. It's a blessing that I can do what I love for me and for all the people who I get to help beautify their events.
What's the one thing that you are so glad? So what's the one thing that really brings joy to your heart when you are working for yourself?
The fact that I know where I'm going. I know exactly where I want to be. I know what the end goal looks like for me, and it's really all my doings to get there. I can't blame anything on anybody else. And at the same time, I won't say the credit is all on me because I have lots of support, tons of support, but I got to pat myself in the back and say, this is Just Dreams, is me, this is mine. And I started this and I'm working so hard for this.
So was it a hard decision you said you talked about leaving your full-time job to go to
It was an easy decision.
Passion.
It was an easy decision to make, but hard to actually do it. I was talking about it for months, and it was, you have my mama like, Cyniqua, are you ready for that? I mean, because I have 2 children, a mortgage. At the time, I had a car payment. It was like, are you ready for all of this? Like, you're on your own now, like this is it. So for months, I played with it like, am I ready to do this? I know they have all these formulas out there that say what you need to do before you decide you're gonna go full time. And I know I did not check all the boxes for all of those formulas, but for me, it was my time to go, and it was my time, and I made a decision. So easy decision, but it was, guess it was kind of hard to actually make it happen.
To make it happen. What are some of the qualities, we teach entrepreneurship in business, and we talk about the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. I know you went through those classes. Did you find that what you experienced in senior school, how your experiences in senior school help you towards your decision or your steps to become an entrepreneur?
I know it's one thing that I regret at Cedar Ridge. So I took this accounting class. It was, and I never had, I don't want to like toot my horn enough, but I never had issues in school. I was not the top of the class student, but I never was the one who, I wasn't perfect. I was not a perfect student. I didn't study every day. I messed around. I did my homework 5 minutes before class started. I started 15 minutes before the test. But even doing all those things, I never had issues with my grades. So I think that only shows what I probably could have done if I put my time, my energy into it, really. But I remember this one thing I really regret from Cedar Ridge. I took this accounting class at Cedar Ridge. I hated this class. It was so hard. For me, anyway, it was hard. Math wasn't my thing. And I took the accounting class. Miss Morrissey was my teacher at the time. And I remember struggling through it, the beginning of the class. And I think I was stressing out. And one day she sat through it. And I remember her like helping me figure the thing out. And it was like, she finally got it to click. And I'm just like, it clicks, it makes sense, it works. And I think I started to enjoy the class from there. I really did start to enjoy that accounting class from her sitting through it and going through it with me. But a lot of the things, like the one part about my business that is not great right now is my accounting, that kind of thing. So that class at Cedar Ridge, like there's kind of things that which I would have paid more attention to that could maybe help me now with what I'm doing now. Like I could plan on wedding, I could design a wedding, I can, coordinate with vendors, but to manage my books, now that's where it's a whole nother story for me. So that is, I guess, one regret that I do have is not paying attention in that accounting class at Cedar Ridge.
Well, I took accounting in college, got A's, but I never taught it at Cedar Bridge because I wanted the students to pass and to understand it. Because it's still hard for me to try to figure out the accounting. But looking at middle school students, we will be talking with some middle school students, showing them the video. What advice would you have to them?
I would say to find what your passion is, find what interests you, find what makes you happy, find what you're good at, and make sure you become the best at it. Like when you're the best at what you do, it's hard for people to go to anybody else. You know, like if you want to be a chef, don't just be a chef, be the best chef. You know, if you want to be a hairdresser, don't just be a hairdresser, make sure you're the best hairdresser. You could do what somebody else around the corner can do. So practice at what you do, work hard, strive to be the best, don't just be mediocre. Which is what I probably would say in high school was kind of the things I did. I played around. I didn't leave Cedar Bridge with a great GPA. That was another one of the things that I regret from Cedar Bridge. It took me to after Cedar Bridge, after college, during college to kind of really kick things, figure out like, this is what I want to do and kind of get serious about it. So at that age, at the middle school age, high school age, if you are serious about what you want to do and you really put your all into it and study hard and practice, and you can start your business in middle school. You don't have to wait to college. You know, you can start those things early. If you know you want to fix cars, hook up your friends on the side. Do stuff for friends and family. Watch YouTube videos. Start early, but just perfect what you do. Don't just be basic. Make sure you're always the best. Strive to be the best, and don't just settle for second. And
that takes us right into some of your work. You said, don't strive to be the basic. I took a balloon decorating class in Tampa. And one of the things they taught us was, I forgot what it's called, the air inflator, and it blows the balloons up the same size. Yes, it blows the balloons up, inflates, sorry, because if I'm going through the airport, I want to use the word inflate instead of blow up. It inflates the balloons to the same size. What I love about your designs, the balloons are not the same size. Yeah. And I love it. Yeah. And I love it. You know, ran against my the training I have, but I am just in love with your designs, looking at your website. And I love how you incorporate sometimes different material inside of your designs. Your logo is ever present here with the Just Dreams. And this circle, it on the right here, we may just think it's simple, but it is just amazing.
Thank you.
It is just amazing. And I always love the balloons with lights in them and things like that. So how do you come up with some of your ideas?
Some of it starts with, if a client gives you inspiration, gives you a color, gives you a theme, sometimes it just triggers something. And that trigger kind of makes you to go and look other places, look to Pinterest, look to Google. And then I have my trusty sidekick, my auntie, who we have like brainstorming sessions, and we would just sit there and go at it and come up with a lot of these things. So I love a good theme. I love different colors. I love things outside of the box. So if you come at me with a different theme, different colors, you want to do something crazy, I'm all for it. And the ideas just start ticking.
Awesome.
What I do like is your professionalism. I was doing an exhibit at the same time you were. It was at Fort St. Catherine. It was the first time that they had it at Fort St. Catherine.
You broke up a bit. Can you repeat that one time?
You're breaking up, Michelle.
My connection is the worst right now. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay, so I said I was at an exhibit. I was exhibiting at the same time with you. It was a bridal expo at Fort St. Catherine.
So that was actually my first. That was actually my first experience of doing, I guess, wedding styling. That was my first time. So that was in 2018. my auntie who actually works at Decor, she runs Decor. She said they was having this wedding show up there. So I was like, cool, we gotta have a table. So yeah, that was my first experience of doing like a real kind of wedding setup.
And your tables were gorgeous.
Thank you.
Because I remember you had like a bright orange. I remember the theme. Yeah.
Orange. Yeah. So yeah, that's still one of my favorites now too. I still love the pictures from that. So and it's funny, one of my biggest weddings I did last year. So last year we did an Indian wedding last year, like 225 people. Actually, Dean helped me with this wedding. Like 225 people. Was at Hamilton Princess, 3 days of events. And we actually got that client from that wedding show, that bridal show at Fort St. Catharines. They came to that bridal show. And then we booked them for the wedding last year. So it definitely was a good experience for us.
Awesome. Now, if someone wanted to book you, I'm grabbing your contact information. If you can walk them through the process of contacting your business.
So our website is justdreamsbermuda.com, and there's a contact button at the top of the page. If you would like to request a quote, Dean, if you can click the button that says request a quote. Yeah, so if you could put in all your details here, details of your event, time, location, budget, the theme of your event, as much details as possible that can help me put together a design. You can do that all online and submit it here. And then, yeah, and then we'll get back to you.
So, Cyniqua, how has the pandemic affected your business? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, go ahead, because I was going to ask that also, you know, what changes and things like that. Yeah.
Right. So typically, my target customers are corporate companies, larger clients. Like I like to do, I look for bigger events, not typically the 1 to 2 person events. So because obviously we can't have large weddings, we can't have corporate functions, I've had to totally change my business model to not focus on the scale of clients, because my target clients are no longer having events. So I've had to shift and look at how I can still do small events to help people celebrate during this time. So I've did some 1 to 2 person, like anniversary stuff, date night stuff. On Mother's Day was like kind of the first day that we was kind of back in business. I think I did like 5 or 6 tables for Mother's Day. I just drove around. I started in Somerset and came down to Georgia's, and we just did Mother's Day setup for people's houses for the family. So I'm totally open right now to doing at-home stuff for people. If you want to have, still want to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, I'm still open to doing smaller 10, 15, 20 person events, whatever the government maximum is at the time. I'm still open to doing this, but I definitely have to totally think about how I can still, you know, keep the business going during this time. Like I have a physical storefront. It's not just out of my house anymore. I have a shop, so I have to still pay rent. I still have to, you know, keep the lights on her and internet. So I've had to think about how I can still help my clients during this time.
Now, can they, you mentioned you have a storefront. Can they come walk in?
Yeah, you can walk in. Though right now, because it's just me, I'm not always in the studio. Once I have events, I'm out. So I recommend that you book an appointment online. You can do that through my website as well. It's a book online button. You can just book it there. And so, you know, I will always have a time here, but you can come in. All the items that I have, all the items that I use for events are available for rent. So that's kind of stuff that you see behind me, pillows, cake stands, lanterns and stuff. All this stuff is available for rent. So even if we can't do your at-home functions for some reason, we are open to renting out our stuff to clients, so you can create your own at-home functions.
Normally, you're speaking of what's behind you. Normally, I just have the screen up, but since I have the black shirt on today, my head was just showing. So I put my little things in the back here. So did I do a good job?
I think you did. I think you did.
Okay.
I like you 3 different sizes.
Okay.
You did good.
because I only had 2 and I was like, oh, right, it's supposed to be odd numbers.
You did good.
Excellent. And then I can just, when the night comes, I can light the candles.
For a little ambiance, right?
Yes, for the ambiance. It actually has a, and I need to probably give this to you. I had a wedding I did. Inside, you can put like the candle inside and stuff.
Nice. And we'll like the letters.
So, and love.
Nice.
And I have one that says happily ever after. I think it was a wedding that I did on my church with Francine. Yes. So any last thoughts right now you want to leave us with? As I said, we're going to show this to our middle school, but it's also going on Facebook Live and also on YouTube. And I can send you the link once the YouTube link comes out. Any final thoughts?
I guess what I would say to my middle school self is like, it's not, you don't have as much time as you think you have. I remember being in middle school thinking like, college is a lifetime away. You know, it's job and careers, it's a lifetime away. It's really not. You don't have as much time as you think you have. Again, like middle school, I had no problems in middle school as far as education wise, but behavioral, I was probably a nuisance in middle school. I wasn't probably a nuisance, I was definitely a nuisance in middle school. And I remember it held me back from doing things that I could have done. For instance, I remember I was on the, back then they had the general knowledge quiz. It was to come on TV every year. And I remember I was the captain of the team and got in trouble. And then couldn't do it. But I just remember stuff like that, like and those things follow you. Even like in high school again, like I finished Cedar Bridge with a 2.4 GPA. And honestly, for me, it's compared to what I could have graduated Cedar Bridge with, it's not acceptable. Looking at it now, I graduated college with a 3.8 GPA from college. And to leave high school for 2.4, it's not even the same person. But it's because I played around. I thought I had time. I thought I had time to get it together, and I didn't. So, and another thing that I also tell students is it's okay to kind of have a change of heart and switch gears kind of midway through. And the reason I say that is because, again, like I went to school for software engineering. You wouldn't think now. I tell people that as a wedding planner, I'm also a software engineer, and it's like, where did that happen? How does that even make sense? But my website, I did that myself. And that's because of what I learned as a software engineer. So I still use the skills that I have, just not in the same way. But again, I started off one way and had a almost 10-year career in that, and I switched. So another thing I would tell people, don't kind of feel discouraged if you are not quite sure what you want to be, where you want to go yet. Just make sure if you do have more than one focus, if you do have more than one passion, put just as much as work into both of those things, and just work hard at both.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Just Dreams Decor, event planning and decor down there in St. George's. Yeah. We have been talking to Cyniqua Anderson. JustDreamsBermuda.com is the website. Go on there, support our young person right here.
One more thing I would add, Dean. If there are students who are interested in event planning, wedding planning, event design, I'll be interested in talking to them. I'm always looking for help at the shop. I always need people when I have large events. I'm always looking for help. So if it is people who are seriously interested, and I say seriously interested, not, play around stuff. If you're really interested in doing it, I'll be more than happy to talk to you, and you can come down and work with me sometime.
Excellent. Thank you very much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yes, no problem. Take care.
Bye.
Excellent. Michelle, great conversation. Great conversation with our with Cyniqua Anderson from Just Dreams, event planning and decor.
I liked how she linked her school, her middle school, high school, and her college, linked it together. How she would have done some things differently, and some courses, well, one course she mentioned specifically accounting that you probably would have paid more attention
More
to.
attention to,
And I
yeah.
feel like a lot of students think, well, what am I going to use this for? Not realizing that, you know, I tell some of them, like, you don't know
You don't know.
what you're going to encounter. You don't know at the end of the day, really and truly, what your interests are going to be. You know, you don't know what path you're going to take. So I would tell them it's a buffet, you know, take it, you know, partake in it, like take as much knowledge as possible. I think too many people think that school's not important. They think a lot of entrepreneurs, people are like, well, you know, I didn't do well in school, but look what I have. I like what she said. She said that, you know, if I had paid attention to accounting, where would I be right now? Because she said that's the part of her business that she has challenges with. Like she does beautiful work.
Yes, most
But
definitely.
she says that's where she has her challenge. So yeah, school is important. Like a lot of people don't think that school's important. No, school is important. A lot of entrepreneurs do take what they've done and they've transferred the knowledge without even, they might not have acknowledged it, but they have transferred some of that knowledge that they did learn in school.
Yes, most definitely. And I mentioned earlier, next week will be our last show, next week, Tuesday. We will be having return guest, and we will be having Maya Palacio, Media Maya. She's going to come and have a 15-minute conversation with us. Very busy young lady. You hear her voice on the COVID-19 press conferences. I saw on Facebook the premier smiles when she asks a question. And I spoke with her today, and she will be on next week with us. If you remember, Maya was with us and she did the student voice on Teacher Talk when she was a senior at Cedar Bridge Academy. So it's going to be excited to see her. It was exciting when I realized it was Maya when I heard her voice. Michelle, I'm knocking down furniture here.
Yeah, I was about to say, then you're knocking down your corner.
Yes, and I did such a good job at it. I knew we were having a designer on the show, so I had to show something design in my background instead of a virtual background.
Why are you acting like you're not a designer yourself? I'm not understanding.
Well, see, I just had
a fraud.
Right, a fraud, right.
You know about dimensions and all of that.
Yes, the 3 but it when I was doing it, I was only thinking 3. But as she mentioned, you have the 3 heights and things, and I like that. Where did my candles go? Because I knew I had candles on top of it. It gave a different dimension. That gives it a different dimension. It's interesting.
I mean, that's what I mentioned. I liked it. I liked her different size balloons. It gave it a real nice organic feel. I really liked it. But
like
go ahead. What you were saying?
I said, I had taken this balloon workshop, and I was so content, not so content. I worked so hard on keeping the balloons the same size because that's what I was taught. But soon as I saw her first design, I was just blown away. And I was like, it was like a release for me because I was so content on making sure that they're all the same size. And it was like they had to be the same size. If they were not, it wasn't designed. But soon as I saw her work, I was just blown away. And just, just to see her creativity. And as she mentioned, I did work with her on that wedding. And even with that wedding, it was just through the roof for me as a design interester. I wouldn't say a designer.
Are you minimalizing yourself? You were hired. People hired you to do stuff.
Look at that. Okay, as a designer, I was just excited to see the young people coming along. My concern was the reason why I invited her. 2 reasons. We wanted to have a conversation with young Bermudians who are entrepreneurs so we can share those with the middle school students. The other reason was I wanted to find out, as you had asked, what effect has COVID-19 had on their business, what changes they have to make. She mentioned that she changed her business plan, her target market. And I love that she used the word target market. we're corporate customers, and she has changed her market. We were also planning on we will have not on Teacher Talk though, but have a conversation with David and Avril Zool, the owners of David Rose Studio. They're on Front Street in St. George. So we'll have a conversation with them also. He went to Cedar Bridge Academy, and so that we can encourage our young people by showing them young people who are business owners and doing quite well at it. So I think we have to highlight our young people. We have to. So I'm excited today. Who else are we having on next week, Tuesday, Michelle?
We're having Maya, and as you mentioned, we're having the Duncans on again. We made arrangements for them to be our last guest. Before we even made the decision when the last day was going to be. So they're going to be our last guest. And then we are going to try to get one of the most frequent guests ever. We're not going to mention her name. You will definitely hear about it if we mentioned her name and we haven't made contact with her.
Contacted her, right?
Right. So we're going to make contact and see if she's available on Thursday.
Right, because I did ask, but not specific date, So Michelle, we didn't start with our traditional, teachers are talking, things going on with school. We are, since the last broadcast, school will now close June the 19th. So that causes some shifting and some plans put in place where teachers have to clear out their items from their schools. School may look different on the way back in September.
Right.
Hybrid schools, a whole lot of things that are going on. So we have to be conscious of that. We definitely have to be conscious of that, Michelle, and the things that are going on there. I have to get, me, I have a lot of junk, my personal stuff at the schools. So it's going to be, I may just have to say, you know what? Throw it away.
We're starting over, right?
Yeah, we're starting over. No, throw it away. Because the amount of things I have, you know what, Mr. Fugger, close that door and we will see you in September.
Right.
But yes, so many things are changing. Students, June 19th, that means summer programs will start earlier. Parents will have to find things for the young people to get involved in. So that right there is a whole new wrench thrown in the picture for some parents. Normally we would talk about the different events that are there, but not this year. We hope that everything works out for you. That much we can say. Right, Michelle?
Yeah, and I just had a thought in my head to just inform parents or to remind them that the S1 through to S3 will be having their final exams next week.
S1 through S3.
Awesome. Right, because the S4 is all wrapped up. They're getting ready for their special ceremonies. I can't say too much about that because I don't know how much the general public's supposed to know. But yeah, they'll be getting ready for their ceremonies.
Right, because
2 weeks
now it's what, 20? It's 20 people. So what is it going to be? 5 different events? Prom 5, prom/5. So here, Michelle, is the update I was talking about from the Minister of Education, the Honorable Diallo Rabane. School buildings will not reopen for students this term. We'll continue with remote learning program at home. The last day of school for students is Friday, June the 19th. The last day for staff is Tuesday, June the 30th. You may ask, I heard someone ask, what are teachers going to be doing? Workshops, and also getting ready for what September may look like. This hybrid education is the new term being used. I did a webinar today, Michelle, and they looked at keeping in contact with students over the summer break. Keeping the lines of communication, check in, not so much for the learning or education, but for the, just checking up on our young people. We have in this generation, we have not been in a pandemic before, so we have to keep our students' well-being in mind, also ourselves. So I'm looking forward to doing something that will keep my well-being or keep me at the forefront, Dean Fogo at the forefront, because you know me, I usually do a whole lot of other things that I don't pay attention to. I mean, that I pay attention to. I normally put those things first, but I'm looking forward this time to put Dean Fogo first. At first, Michelle, I said I was not going to, and I'm doing something while I'm doing that. So I'm trying to darken this screen, but I want a solid color and black. So hopefully that puts some light on it. Does that darken it up some?
Yeah, it does.
But I can't see that. It's on the whole screen. It's on the whole screen, Michelle. Pull me. That didn't work. But no, sorry. So Michelle, teacher talk.
Yeah, teacher talk.
Teacher talk. There's love in the air, or is it just on my
That's funny.
counter thing behind me?
Over your shoulder.
The shelf thing. It's actually two, now that we're going off topic, it is actually two nightstands that I purchased and stacked them. And I need to put them on wheels now. I'm thinking put one beside me so I can have like a little credenza right here that I can move around. Yes,
Gotcha.
most definitely. So how was math today? I had business studies, and what I'm doing is we are continuing with our project on Bermuda Day Spectacular, getting our young people to look at celebrating being Bermudian. The theme, as I mentioned before, for the month is month of May was We Are Bermudian. The theme for the parade that we would have had is celebrating our Caribbean connections. So we are continuing with that project until the school lets out. And I was encouraging our young people to create a virtual celebration. And I was showing them, I had the parade in the background, I had their work popping up on the screen. So I told them there is still value in celebrating who we are. We may not have been able to do that physically this year, but we definitely can do that virtually. They can go on, Burmemes did that celebration for God's purpose. They had their virtual Bermuda Day. We've seen many different versions of, the virtual celebration of being Bermudian. It's something, as you know, came out of the Pitt Report back in the 70s as a result of the civil unrest in the 60s and 70s. And I think we still need to celebrate being Bermudian and showing the value of that, So I had a great day today. I will continue that on Thursday. We had an orientation and one orientation for those students coming to Clearwater Middle School. Many schools are doing that now virtually. I sat in Cedar Bridge Academy's virtual.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I sat in Cedar Bridge Academy's virtual
that was last Wednesday.
Yes, I know Barclay Institute is going to have one. We had one last night, I believe it was Monday night. If last night was Monday night. And it was exciting. And you know me, I like to just do it up. So I was just working away. I want them to see this excited, overjoyed, passionate individual that's going to be in their child's life for 3 years. For 3 years. Sometimes when I was at Cedar Bridge, it was like 6. But for 3 years in middle school. 3 years in middle school, Michelle. So it's math still adding up.
Hold on a second. You had asked me earlier. And today, basically, for the rest of the week, is about interventions and review. So that's basically what this week looks like: interventions and review.
Nice. And you just have the S1 through S3 in the building?
Yeah. So I have 3 classes left. I had 3 classes left because I had 2 S4 classes. So I have 3
Okay.
classes left. So I have 2 S2s and an S3. So they're getting ready for next week.
And you hear I say it in the building, right? Totally. I just went to the regular online, Google Classroom. Yes, yes, yes. So I don't know if there are any questions on Facebook. I am not monitoring that. I should sign on to see if there are any questions on Facebook. I am getting relaxed with this Facebook thing, you know, Michelle.
Oh, excellent.
I am definitely getting relaxed because normally it's like, okay, we've got to have this working and that working and all of that wonderful things, you know?
You're letting certain things go now.
Yes, most definitely. I'm social distancing them. Normally it's right there in front of me, but right now it's like 6 feet away. 6 feet away. Oh, Michelle, we have to mention Black Lives Matter, the march. Oh my gosh. That right there was just, for me, was just awesome and outstanding.
I'm glad that Bermuda showed up and showed out.
Yes, I was glad also. A lot of times there are people thinking that, well, I just hear the statement, injustice anywhere is injustice. I know it don't go like that,
Right.
but injustice anywhere is injustice. And I think we have to fight wherever we are, the injustices wherever we are. And it may look like we were, or those out there were fighting the George Floyd murder and the reactions from that, the results of that. But there are some things in Bermuda. We don't know what people are going through in Bermuda. We don't know the injustices put on people in Bermuda. So I was just overjoyed because this generation is going to move us in a place where we need to go. We want to encourage all those who came out, those who need to have the conversation in their communities, should have that conversation in their communities. There are many people who say the conversation should be had in the white community regarding racism. And I think that is totally true because it's like the Black community has had that or the results of it for years, and we still find ourselves in this situation. So Black lives do matter. And I love the analogy, the house on fire. The house on fire is the one where the fire truck has come to put out. So the march was going to the house on fire to put the flames out, to address the fire, to look at it, to see if it's water is going to put out the fire, if it's something on the inside. And then once they put the fire out, Michelle, I feel like I would have preached. Once they put the fire out, Michelle, they go and look at the ruins. They go and look at the burnt, whatever is burnt, to find out what started it. When they find out what started it, Michelle, what do? Do they just leave it, throw it away? No, they make changes. So changes in society may come because there was a plug. The fire started from the plug. And when they looked at the plug was faulty. Created that way, faulty. So then they say, okay, well, let's change the creation of that plug. So when that plug is plugged in again, that won't happen. So the same thing with racism and the injustices that are going on. We need fire trucks to go and find out what is going on. Put it out first. Put out what we see. And then once because we may not, oh, I just got that. We may not see what is causing racism. What we see are the results of it. So we eliminate what we see, which is only the results, the fruit of racism. That's all we see, but the roots are still there. So just like this fire truck going into that house, going through the ashes to find out what was the cause of it. And they are making changes once they find out what the cause of it is. Just like a plane crash, that black box. Racism started in that black box. And we have to go and listen to the black box to find out what was the conversation that got us where we are now.
Okay.
And then fix it and then put things in place. I end my preaching today. Reverend Rufus.
You are definitely channeling Reverend Rufus.
I was
Power, weren't you?
definitely challenging Reverend Rufus, but I felt that right there. We only see the fruits of it. So if we remove the fruits of it, the problem is still there. If we have not addressed,
Because it's going to grow back.
yes, it's going to grow back. And sometimes stronger.
because the protest is symbolic.
Yes.
That's not going to, the protesting is not going to make the change.
No.
It protest bring attention
to, yes.
what needs to be changed.
So
that's good. It's because it's good that we've had the numbers
yes.
that were out there. Mm-hmm. But that's just the start of it. Now we got to do the work.
We've got to do the work.
What you said. Now we got to identify it's systemic. So we got to see how does the system work, and then we have to dismantle the system. And
I would encourage everybody, start with the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson said it. Start with the man in the mirror to see how do you play a part in it? Are you quiet? Are you aggressive? Or are you passive in whatever? If you are there to eradicate it, say something in the area that you're in. Or are you quiet? We saw it. Silence is violence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many of the signs were just mind-blowing. I was speaking to a colleague who said, a lady beside her said, I am not, something to the fact that I don't understand. No, not understand. I can never understand what you feel, but I walk with you today. Mm-hmm. I walk with you today. So there was some powerful, and then even for the person to come to that realization, I cannot feel what you feel, but in my feelings, I'm going to walk with you, support you, Well, I when Reverend Sharpton first spoke, I like what he said. This to me sums it all up in a nutshell on a superficial level. And what I mean is not that what he said wasn't important, but this right here summed it all up. It says, I'm not asking you for any favors. Just get off my neck. Ah. Woo. And we are going to get off live right now because I can go on for so much longer because that right there resonated with me, Michelle. It's symbolic. Oh my gosh, and I think this time is going to be so much different than before. Oh, it is. Because of COVID-19, number one, and then because of the symbolism of his murder. A knee on your neck. Yes. Just that symbolism. And when Reverend Al Sharpton said that, I just felt ripples are going to be here. And the younger generation right now, they are not us. They are not the generation before us. They are going to fight different than what our generation fought and what the generation before us fought. So I'm just praying for love will emanate throughout so that we can get closer to eradicating racial injustice in this society. In this society. Yeah. In this society. So we hope, family, we have come to the end of another show. We hope that something we have said will have you talking until we are back here again. But until then, have a good night and encourage our young people to listen. When a teacher talks.